Hi everybody. This full moon tonight, exact at 8:42 p.m. So we're having an exact time. We'll probably still be at least just coming out of the meditation or finishing a little before then. So it's super potent. It's good to see you all. I wanted to say thank you for all the notes you send me. I get little sweet notes that just touch my heart that are, thanks, and this really helps, and those kinds of things really mean a lot to me in this offering, and it's nice to know that you're appreciated and being used, and so thank you for that. So here we are on this full moon in Sagittarius, and it is solar Gemini and then full moon in Sagittarius. So those are mutable signs. They're impressionistic in a way. And so it is also the festival of humanity in the solar Gemini sign. And so this is the outpouring of the energies that have been building up for the last 3 months during the spring festivals. There's 3 of them in a row, in Aries, Taurus, and then Gemini. And Gemini is the outlet. So we're definitely going to do something in our meditation where we're going to release energy out that many of us have been holding in just a very particular way during this period of enlightenment on our planet. So it's powerful. And so it's an important full moon in that sense. And we can really use it with full moon in Sagittarius. It's really all about truth, And so really discovering inside yourself what is true, what is the capital T truth of your life, what is coming up for seeing, for changing, for growing. What I'm calling this full moon is the full moon of big changes. And before I go into other things, I wanted you to just think about that in the background. What is changing right now? What has been changing? Not so much what is changing like you think is going to be changing. What has been changing? Something significant in everyone's life. It's moving. Often, it can be a job, and it can be a house, and it can be those kinds of more real 3D things. But often, when we're talking about this type of change, and especially in mutable signs, it's more like the change on the inside. Like you get to change your mind. Finally, we can, we talked about it last full moon, about this thing that's coming up for healing, this thing that's been coming up for healing for 20 years. This period that we're in is right now culminating in a time where we can actually heal it. So I'm calling it generational healing, It's like ancestry healing. I'm calling it like DNA healing, like really deep healing for all of us to think about. So while I'm talking, I want you to think about what is coming up that is changing, that has been changing over these last couple of months, that's actually changing now. You can see the results of it. Things are changing in the world, as you know, and of course we are affected and also getting to change. And I really look at it like that rather than having to change. But getting to change, it's the opportunity that's inside of this, that we get to change. And this is powerful because you know what? The change that we're making is a change that we want and that we've been maybe wanting for a long time, but also maybe thinking we couldn't do. Maybe it felt impossible. The way things are lined up in the sky right now, everything's possible. And change is happening everywhere. So I'm going to look at the chart just for a moment for the ones of you that like to see it, so you can kind of get a sense of just the sky right now. Here's the full moon. I put a lot of information on it because there's so much going on right now with the full moon. The full moon here you can see is 13 degrees Sagittarius, 14 degrees, and opposing the moon, exact, of course, 1318, 1318. The Sabian symbol for the full moon, which I'm going to use somehow tonight in our meditation, is the imagery is the pyramids and the Sphinx. It's just interesting. It's the mystery, right? And then, amazingly, the sun degree in the exact opposing point is a conversation by telepathy. So we can connect. We can really connect in this meditation tonight, should you want to. You can be in such a deep place with this group and with the world group of meditators that are out there. Millions of us are out there. And I've also just written some notes in here for you astrologers out there. Look at all the stuff that's happening this month, June 3rd, June 4th, June 5th, June 11th. It's like one thing after another. It's all very interesting and kind of useful right now to work with, to really change. And that's why I was saying this is the moon of big changes that you've been working on. It's a powerful time, and we get to work with this energy and really see, where we stand with it and what we've been working on. So if it's been feeling difficult, which it may have been, it's coming to a place where you're going to start to see some of the results of your focus, of your labor, of your concentration. When you're moving from point A to point B from a spiritual point of view, I always do this, right? It's this. I have an orchid here. I place the subject, right, in my palms, like this, metaphorically in my mind, or literally, like I'm doing right now, and I give it, right, to higher power, to God, to light on the altar, all the ways we talk about this. But you carry it. Can you see in my stance, there's a humility in this, to stand in the gentle offering of anything that might be happening for you. So let's say you're going through something very, very difficult. Some people are. You carry it like that. You place it on the altar. You offer it into the meditation tonight, in this meditation, and in every meditation in theory, that you can place this in this way, knowing that it is what it's supposed to be. I think that was the name of my last meditation last month, is what is meant to be, for the full moon. What is meant to be, right? So we were already working in this energy last full moon. And during these three spring festivals, very powerful full moons. So here we are at the ending point, we're the outlet point, and you're going to see it take form out into the world in different ways. So you may see a light at the end of the tunnel, right? Even though we're still going through it and all this stuff is still happening and the world is still going through all the changes that it's going through, there's lights along the way, like at the hero's journey, right? There's mentors along the way, there's teachers along the way, there's light along the way that shows you're on the right track. And we're just giving it all to our highest awareness to try to move. If you think about the full moon in Sagittarius of truth, what is true? And then you think of the festival of humanity, which we're in, and you think of Pluto in Aquarius, which is at 0 degrees Aquarius, and that is the sign of humanity. And this 7 months or so that we're going to be working with Pluto moving back into Capricorn, back into the finances, back into the banks, back into the form of things. It's going to go backwards 1 degree. only, and then it's going to go forward again in January 2024. So it's a long period, but we have been crisscrossing across that 29 degrees Capricorn, 0 degrees Aquarius line for some months now. And so we're just getting this touch of what the next step for all of us actually is, which is selflessness versus selfishness, right? To the greater good, for the common good, versus what just for me, right? And so that's what we're working on is as a humanity, and this is a 20-year cycle. So it's a long one. It affects America specifically, but it affects everyone, of course, but it's affecting America a lot. And that idea that when one person gets it, everyone gets it. You know, it's like if you have an epiphany in your life right now, which you could, right? Then you could affect your epiphany ripples out and affects everyone. You see what I mean? That when you get it, we get it. When you heal, I heal. That's how it works. It's energy, right? So isn't that exciting to think of? Like, what can what are you working on that you're healing in your life or changing in your life, big changes, that is rippling out and affecting everyone? So if you grow, we grow. And if I grow, you grow. And that's how this whole world kind of interacts energetically. So it matters. It's like the 100th monkey thing, you know. It's like that idea of they get the one little monkey gets the water in the bowl, right? And takes the water in the bowl and brings it back to where they live. And pretty soon, very quickly, all the monkeys are using coconut shells as a little bowl to carry the water back to where they live. But then the really amazing thing about that experiment wasn't just on that island. That one monkey on that island that did that action caused a ripple effect that somehow on the other islands around, they did too. That's energy. You see? So we're getting it together. And we have a little window right now, going back to the chart, I want to show you this, where Jupiter is conjunct the North Node, which is like a little blessing, right? It's like in the middle of all this stuff that's happening right now, there's a little blessing happening. And it accelerates, and it's practical, it's in Taurus, right? It's practical and you can use it. So you can actually take advantage of this little opening that we're having right now. Isn't that beautiful to think of? That you can use this energy as an opportunity to go deeper. So hopefully you're still thinking gently about what is the thing that you're changing in your life? What is changing in your life? And like we talked about at the last full moon, can you trust your life? Right? Will you trust your life? Can you know that what is changing is meant to change? It's good for you, for this to change in your life, whatever it is. It doesn't necessarily seem like it sometimes because we get attached, to the form. We want it to be the way that we are used to it, or the way that it was, or the way that we think it should be. But so often, right, you turn that corner and it's a better situation than the one that you're in. So I'm asking you to think about that, like to try to trust that whatever this change or changes are in your life that are happening around you or within you are exactly right for you. So take that in for a second and just feel that for a moment and let that in when you think of our keyword for the key phrase for the Sabian symbol, the pyramids and the Sphinx, the great mystery of things that are ancient, esoteric knowledge. And when we meditate, we're connecting to that esoteric, ancient knowledge. So here we are doing that, right? So when we go into the meditation in a bit, we're going to talk about, work with that changing energy, working with this full moon energy to amplify the subject so we can really see it, and practice trusting the life, trusting your soul, which is the whole point, right? To trust your own soul's journey and the way, or the personality's journey from the soul's perspective, right? Because the soul is like the North Star, right, of our life. And if you think of that guiding light, right, that inner knowing. We were just talking earlier today, I was talking to a client of mine, and she was saying that she knew something wasn't right for her, but she did it anyway, right? and we've all done that. We've all done that, where we knew something wasn't right for us, but we still did it anyway, and in her case, there were months of signs, because it was a little bit in the past. The first time she even touched it, she knew. And then it kept getting more and more and more and more until it was so big that it was nothing, she couldn't do it ultimately, which was the point of her inner knowing, right? Her inner knowing was nudging her, this isn't for you, right? And so as you learn to listen to that North Star within you, you can start to navigate the life to feel what's in flow with it and what's not in flow with it. And it's quite obvious, actually. Your body knows it. Your brain might not know it. That's the problem, right? The brain will override your intuition, your extrasensory perception, right? All your other sensibilities. The ego will override with its fear, its guilt, its obligation, its promise, its loyalty to something, and, walk off a cliff sometimes because it feels like it's right, rather than listening constantly, making those little adjustments along the way, a little bit this way, a little bit that way, turn right. Sometimes you just turn right or left. And so you're learning in your meditation to actually listen more and more deeply to what you know, not what you think, to what you know. So that's a great segue to go into our meditation. So if you want, you get your candle. Pulled a card for us before we began, and I thought it was really interesting. It's in my soul tree deck that I love, and it's this. I don't know if you can see it. There it is up close, and then here it is back a little bit so you can kind of see the card. All these are trees, and it says subtle energy. And boy, what are we working with right now but subtle energy in any meditation that we do. But in this particular meditation, that's images are the pyramids and the Sphinx. And the other sun Sabian symbol is a telepathic conversation. That's subtle energy. I love that phrasing for tonight's meditation as we go into it. So if you don't have a candle, don't worry, you don't need one. Just in your mind, light one. And then when you're ready to, start to close your eyes and just get yourself comfortable. Balancing the body, the mind, heart. Balancing yourself into the moment. Bringing yourself into this time and space. Sensing the others that are inside of this meditation. Sensing all the others that are meditating around the planet on this full moon. Feel your connection with all of us and us with all you. Feel your crown chakra open. Feel the third eye standing ready and at attention. And let your heart hold this space, breathing gently, starting to move into the silence, into the stillness, into the moment, becoming present. Om. And you make that first touch like first light. Into the third eye that opens the consciousness, that remembers that it is soul, and sense and know the relationship with the soul, your relationship with your soul, knowing there's a group soul that overlights that, and another group soul that overlights that, and on to infinity. But sensing the personal one between your soul and yourself. Om. And you feel that light of awareness that wakes up the cells, that wakes up the molecules and the DNA of your body, that wakes up the etheric of yourself so that there is a full and present consciousness here, now. I am present. I and the soul are one. And sensing like a garland of flowers, like a lei, of all these heart consciousnesses in our meditation right here, right now. And then an even greater lei, garland of flowers, of consciousnesses around the planet, all aspirational, right? Aspiring up to raise the vibration from fear to love, from fear to love. And all those things that we're fretting about, that are real, that we're working with, that are this physical life experience, are part of the colors of the beautiful exploration of this lifetime and this growing awareness within ourselves. And we allow ourselves to be moved and to rise up and be buoyant too. These things that feel heavy at times and weighted, scary, and still, and even more still. Standing as light, standing as consciousness within all of that. Within all of that. So here we are as little lighthouses, big lighthouses. And I'm counting us in to go deeper now into this meditation. Star. sky, earth, land, mountain, stream, tree, all beings, self, soul, Om. In and in and in, deeper and deeper into the mystery of the Sphinx, of the pyramids, of that ever-expanding consciousness that does and will more and more so equal telepathy in our lifetime. It's happening already right now. More and more awareness. And you step into that light of the soul. And just gently thinking then now of that big change that has been in the works for a very long time. And it is changing. And you know it. It is changing. No matter how attached we are to the form of the position that we're holding or the perspective that we think, there's more. There's more light. There's more love. And you keep as if now you're walking through the threshold from one way to another way. You step through that threshold into the new. And here is our meditation for the silence. The seed thought is: I am recognizing what is ready to release, and I am ready to let this go for my highest good. And for our highest good. In grace and in truth. I'll say that again just so you can hold it. I am recognizing what is ready to release. And I am ready to let this go for my highest good and our highest good, in grace and in truth. And through the threshold you step into the silence now. I recognize what is ready to release. And I'm ready to let this go now. For my highest good and our highest good. In grace and in truth. Good. And from this place, find yourself back now in the heart of the head center in the cave. And take your seat here. And as you do, you may notice something's in your hand, something's at your feet, something that is in support of this release and a symbol of it. I'm seeing a feather come wafting down, light as a feather, light as a feather. But whatever it is, just touch that with your awareness, recognizing it, letting it be of service, this symbol. There might be a white dove in your palm, or a word written on your forearm or your palm, or a special crystal in your lap. This symbol of understanding. Soul with self. And from this place, in the heart of the head center, looking out now at this time of the festival of humanity, second ray, love, wisdom. And gently from that point of view, send light and love and power to our world, to our earth, pure and crystal clear light, waves and waves of increasing light, waves and waves of increasing light that's coming to us, through us, and from us. You offer it. I offer this light. And when you're ready to, we offer this light. You let your breath get deeper and fuller. Just making a single Om from where you are to close and seal this meditation as something you know by heart now. For the Om, take a breath, inhale. Good, and when you're ready to, letting yourself transition out of this meditation. Being here now, feeling grounded, solid, having, in a way, moved a mountain, and all you had to do was this old pattern, this big change, this situation is in movement now. It's changing. Good. So it's been a little bit hard. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the world and in our lives. So be brave. Right? Be in the light of this moment. Take it with you into the world. It's going to be okay. It's our consciousness that will make it so. In grace and in truth. By grace and in truth. Right? The next full moon is, let's see, Monday, July 3rd, which is just before the 4th of July Eve. And the next meditation class will be Saturday, June 17th. If you'd like to join either of those, you're always welcome. I hope you do. And I thank you for being part of this tonight. Have a wonderful month and full moon period. So happy you are all here.